Imagine walking into a room filled with powerful men in dark suits. You've studied, you've worked hard, and you know your numbers better than anyone else in the room. But the moment you sit down at the table, people question your presence, not just because you're a woman, but also because of your race. This is the story of Clara, a white South African businesswoman navigating racism and sexism in one of the toughest industries, mining. Clara grew up in Johannesburg. Her family had lived in South Africa for generations, yet she always carried the invisible weight of history. Being white in a post-apartheid society came with assumptions. Some believed she had privilege she didn't earn, others distrusted her intentions. Still, Clara was determined to make her own mark. She studied business, specialized in mining economics, and eventually launched her own consultancy. It wasn't easy, but she had the drive to succeed. Her first big test came at a mining negotiation in Pretoria. The room was filled with executives, mostly older African men, many of whom had been in the industry for decades. As soon as Clara introduced herself as the lead negotiator, she noticed the sideways glances. Some raised their eyebrows, some smirked. One whispered loud enough for her to hear.
So this is who they sent? A white lady to talk mining with us?
Clara pretended not to notice, but inside, her stomach tightened. She knew she had to prove herself. As the discussion began, several men openly challenged her. Not because her points were wrong, but because of who she was.
What do you know about our land?
People like you profited while we suffered. Why should we take advice from you now?
For Clara, it was a moment of truth. She was proud of her heritage, but she also understood the painful history behind those words. She wasn't responsible for the past, but she was paying the price for it. On top of that, sexism made things worse. Instead of debating her ideas, some men flirted with her in the middle of the meeting.
Maybe you should have dinner with me, then I'll listen.
You should be at home raising kids, not in the boardroom.
Clara felt trapped, attacked on two fronts. If she pushed back too hard, they'd call her arrogant. If she stayed silent, they'd walk all over her. But Clara had prepared for this moment. She pulled out her research, detailed charts, figures, and projections that nobody else in the room had. She spoke with calm authority, never raising her voice, but never backing down either. Slowly, the tone of the room began to shift. Even the loudest critics had to acknowledge that she knew her stuff. By the end of the meeting, the same men who had mocked her were quietly asking her questions, even taking notes. Clara walked out of that boardroom victorious. Not because she had silenced the prejudice, but because she had refused to let it define her. Clara's story shows us how complex discrimination can be. Racism told her she didn't belong because of her skin color. Sexism told her she didn't belong because of her gender. And yet, she stayed, she fought, and she proved herself. It's a reminder that women, no matter their background, often have to work twice as hard to be taken seriously, especially in male-dominated industries. What do you think is harder to overcome, racism or sexism? Or is it the combination of both that creates the toughest battles? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe if you want more stories like this one.